May. This isn't May. This is June 6th, 2016. All right, can we have a call to order?
Yep. Chairman Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Kerr. Here. Commissioner Locke,
Here.
Commissioner Long,
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Here.
and Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Okay.
You have no one signed up for public comments this evening.
And we have no audience whatsoever, so all right. Moving on to approval of the minutes of the last meeting at May 2nd, 2016.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right.
Motion to approve made and seconded. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Discussion and possible action concerning historic preservation guidelines on railings.
Yeah, those minutes that you just approved, Commissioner Long asked for an item that just clearly identified that all railings in the historic district should be colored black, moving forward. And so there's nothing necessarily in our design guidelines addressing the color of our railings. And so just wanted to identify that and make it, official moving forward.
Okay.
I think my only comment to that is if it corresponds with colors of the building, such as the building we own, where the jungle's at, we match the blue on our railing.
Okay.
I mean, if you had several different colors on a building and there were historical colors,
Okay.
I think it would look better than it being black.
Okay.
That's
Open up for comments.
I think that I don't know about yours specifically on the jungle. I know that what brought it in question was the new townhouse motel, even though we did approve those colors. The previous railing colors was a dark green, and their new one is more of a bright blue, which I think the previous color was the dark enough green that you didn't notice it was green. It looked more black from the street. And so I think that's where I was coming from in regards to other railing. It would have in their current structure, although I think they did tie. I think it tied in. I think it matches the colors in which they presented. But looking at the project complete, their railings would look better black. Your railings maybe not so. I don't think yours are bright blue either. I don't know what.
they're the same color as the building.
Yeah. So, and just looking at other railing, like for instance, at Bobo's building, that black railing it's all black. The fencing in front of the jungle is black. Most other railings are black. So I guess it could always be up for a variance or for in question.
Right.
But I would just not like to see bright blue or orange
Could we
or.
word it with like a strong preference for black?
I would be fine with that.
Would that?
Preference for black and then all other colors upon review.
Yes, I think that would be.
Okay.
Because I think we've had discussion in here before. We've got colors in our historic color palette that although they are historic in nature, they may not be the best suitable color for a base wall color, maybe for a trim color or something like that. But there are colors in that historic palette that we just wouldn't want to see a building
I
necessarily
think the
painted.
purple building was one
Yes.
of those that
Yes.
after it was up, even the owner was not really pleased with it, but it was done.
Right.
Maybe that's an issue of actually, telling people which colors are base colors and which ones are trim colors, so when they're looking at them, they have a better starting point of knowledge. I don't know what we give people right now.
We typically hit on the ACE color palette and everything that shows in the historic color scheme that they provide. As we saw with the townhouse motel, everything was kind of eligible at that point, even though, that bright blue looking back on it might not be necessarily something that you would accent with a railing.
Yeah, it was a lot brighter than what it looked like.
I agree.
And I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine line because I strongly believe when someone owns something, you can't completely restrict on what they do with it. We give them a color wheel, and I think that's fine. But I think if we want to be more strict on that color wheel, I just think it should be upfront. If we can draw those lines, because at the end of the day, I think everyone wants the same thing. We want the town to appear attractive, but that's one of those words that definitely is relative.
open for interpretation or whatever. What if we took the historic color palette and kind of made a hierarchy and kind of had a suggestion of primary base coats, trim colors, et cetera? What if we developed that?
Yeah, because I think that's part of the problem. When people are just looking at colors, they have no idea what's a trim color, what's intended as base color. Just, these are suggestions that this is kind of an accent color. Might just be useful to hand, a piece of paper that goes with that color chart.
A preference for this hierarchy.
Okay.
I like that.
We can definitely investigate kind of a hierarchy moving forward. And so with kind of that hierarchy mentality, do we look to solidify a motion right now? Do we leave a little bit of flexibility moving forward by, either a no action or, like I said, we could always have a, motion that says concerning the railing in the historic town site, preference will be given for black, and then other colors can be approved upon review. And so really you guys have a couple different options right now. It's just how much flexibility do you want to give yourself moving forward?
Well, I think however you just worded it, with the preference being black on the railing would be preferred.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I'm not opposed to any, I mean, if there is another option. I mean, honestly, white wouldn't be ugly if it was presented correctly. I mean, you see a lot of white railing as well. I mean, I've seen white railing done in New Orleans and it looks great. But I've also seen a lot of black railing done. So I think it could be left open, but with a preference on black.
Okay. Okay. So I heard Commissioner Long say that he liked the quote that was listed above. I'm going to take that as a motion. And again, that motion was concerning railings in the historic town site. Preference will be given for black. Other colors can be approved upon review.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, motion and second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I want to abstain.
Okay. All right, motion carried. All right.
And then come back to the color chart at future meeting. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, sorry, I've got distracted.
no problem.
All right, so we're on to 5, discussion concerning downtown improvement project.
Yeah, we have presented, I think, 3 or 4 different copies of the downtown improvement project that was reviewed. I can't remember when Laterra Studios came in now. I had looked at it earlier and went through those minutes, but I believe it was in 2015 whenever Brad Moulton came in and represented the project. This is in response to Commissioner Mahoney's request last month for an update. I have the black and white version, which doesn't really promote what's going on all that well, but the color version definitely shows kind of the improvements that are looking to be made. The grant that is through the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, it's called the Transportation Alternatives Program. That grant was submitted in April and will be reviewed in July, and then hopefully a decision made in August of 2016. We feel very, very strongly about our grant at this point, but nothing has changed since the plans were last reviewed by the Historic Preservation Commission. It's just, finally getting the grant to open from ODOT was just a huge win in itself. We had been told since 2013 that we were 3 to 4 months away from it opening, and then should be next month. We heard that phrase about 4 or 5 different times. And so finally for the grant to be open and we've submitted, and we feel very, very strongly about our application based on communication with the grant project managers from ODOT. So we're really excited about what's going on. The grant is going to allow us to do both the Oklahoma and Harrison intersections. I know that Commissioner Long has set in on the most recent meeting concerning the project, and so wanted to really focus on knocking both intersections out at once so that it provided cohesive materials, everything moving forward. I do believe that, as noted in here, that the treescaping has been removed from the plan. So hopefully, we're talking about construction and those kinds of things with the ODOT bridge project. Hopefully, if we find out good news about the grant in August, we'll put it out to bid sometime in 2016, and hopefully see a lot of progress moving forward in 2017. It's going to be pedestrian friendly. Some bump outs are going to provide a little bit more easeability in crossing the intersections from Division to First, east and west sides of Division. I apologize. And any questions you have, I'll try my best to answer. Again, this was funded from our portion of the grant match was funded from the Gentleman of the Road Mumford and Sons Guthrie stopover in August of 2013. We essentially froze the incremental tax that we accrued that month from ticket sales and increase of sales of having 40,000 people in town for a course of a weekend, froze that increment and rolled it over into a matching fund for downtown beautification.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Okay.
All right.
Well, I guess we'll move on to staff comments.
Yeah, one thing that I just want to point out, there will be a public hearing on Thursday at 5:30, same location as we're in right now, for the Publishing Museum. Bywater Development Group put in a bid through the state's RFP process in 2015 to take that over and do some senior housing projects in that building. And so there's an ordinance that requires a public hearing and special use permit be applied for and completed for us to do multifamily in excess of 12 units in any one location inside the central business district. This just allows us to review that adequate parking and everything like that is being taken care of and planned for appropriately. So the first public hearing is going to be this Thursday, June 9th, 5:30 p.m. inside the Guthrie City Council council chambers. The second public hearing will be the June 21st City Council meeting, and that will be at 7 o'clock, same location. Obviously a very significant building in our downtown, and so it's nice that we have a public review process. That's all for staff comments.
Okay. Any commissioners have any comments?
I don't.
No.
I have just one announcement. The Logan County Historical Society, we've recently completed some WPA tours. So we have 2 for Guthrie, 1 for East and 1 for West Guthrie. One of the routes is actually walkable, bikeable route, and we have it on our website. And we also have some brochures that I'm starting to distribute around town.
Very cool.
And I have a few of those if anybody's interested in seeing.
Wonderful.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, anything else? All right.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Awesome.